Hello again. Jordan Parr, Henry Farmers Co-op here with Caleb Little and Miss Camille Lambert from FMC. And we're kind of come to you today to talk to a little in-season stuff as to kind of what we're seeing in the residual world these days.
Thank you, Jordan. Glad to have Camille here with us. It's always a pleasure to spend and talk some agronomics and what we're seeing out in the field. And we were pretty excited. We thought we wanted to visit and showcase a little bit of what we did out in the field. I know this spring has been pretty challenging. Everybody jokes and says, but 2024 is the year that keeps on giving, pretty much. We've had all kinds of curveballs thrown at us, and with rains and different slugs and this, that, and the other, and a little thing that has been pushed to the back, it seems like, is maybe doing that right behind the planter or right before the planter pass of overlaying some residuals. And we had a scenario in a field that was worked. It got wet on us. We didn't have a chance to do it. Came back, and it got a little weedy. And Jordan actually volunteered himself to spray it with our secondary sprayer, and we sprayed it with Gramoxone and Authority Edge. And he came in and planted it, and we wanted to go back and visit it. And my goodness, what we saw. As we can see up here in this picture and on some drone footage, we're not just cherry picking a certain area of this field. As you see this video, this drone going through from one end to the other, my goodness, we're just amazed. This is 30 days since it's been applied. Today that we actually took this drone footage, and again, the field was worked up pretty good, but we did have some stuff popping back in. And I will say, after walking it today, there is some small stuff starting to break, but 30 days, do you get that out of everything? And we all know the rain that we've had in the last 30 days, and we can pull that up if you'd like, but just really excited about what we're seeing, and we wanted to visit with Camille today of a little bit more agronomics of why we're seeing some of the things that we are compared to maybe some others, things along that nature, and what you're getting is what you pay for.
Definitely, and I'm glad you said this is the year that just keeps on giving, because it has really shown where our pitfalls are. Yep. So the guys that have gone out and put a really strong residual ahead of the planter or right at planting held. And, you know, the past couple of years, we've been able to get away with sometimes not putting a super strong residual down at the planter and then coming back in season and hammering our residual then. Right. And it didn't work out this year because it was so wet. Some of these guys didn't get back in the field for a month or longer. Yeah. So it really showed where we didn't get the job done.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about what you got sitting in front of you here. I mean,
yes,
is this something
it's
you're going to hit
textbook.
us with? Or yeah,
I keep it just in case anybody gives me any crap. No, it is the herbicide handbook. So I always grew up on a family farm, and from day one, I've always asked, why? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you using that product? Like, I want to know why something is being used and what's it doing?
Yes.
So this book, my master's is in weed science, so I had to basically read this whole textbook when I was in school. But it teaches you why each active ingredient is being used. So pyroxysulfone is in this situation that you guys just showed with that drone imagery. That's the active ingredient that's pulling a lot of the weight, and it is awesome. So it has a half-life of 34 days, roughly. And you compare that to some of the other products that we can use in season. You've got Outlook, you've got Dual, some of these others, they can be good products, but they just don't have the half-life length that pyroxysulfone has. Yep. So we talk about overlapping residuals or creating a bigger window. It's very important, especially on these 30-inch row soybeans. You know, we're not going to shade the row and close that canopy for a long time. So we've got to have something that holds. You're going to be right back in that field spraying again. So you want to make sure you create a longer window.
Right. Yeah, and that this year, of course, you know, like you said, with the rains and everything, we had customers that had really 2 full burn downs before they even got to plant. You know, they were headed out there to it, and then it started raining, and then it rained for a month. So then we had breakthroughs. Well, start clean, stay clean. You know, you don't want to plant into a dirty field. So what do? Spray it again. You know, so the residuals worked. They just literally ran out of time because there was no shade there, and the sunlight just eat us up. You know.
Do y'all do much tillage in this area? Do you have much of that? Because I've been seeing a lot of problems due to that this year. So usually that helps us clean up a field, But in this situation, it got late in the game, and we saw some people that normally don't do tillage pull some tillage tools out so that they could dry out the ground and get in there to plant. And so some of these active ingredients that we say are really good on grass or other things, the tillage tore them up, and then we planted right back into it, and it didn't fully kill those weeds, and they came right back.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
that's
been
the hard
interesting.
part we had this year, especially like Cato mentioned with the slugs, so everybody had a pretty good start, and then the slugs eat our lunch and the beans lunch too. So then it was, do we work the ground? Do we not? Do we interplant? Do we kill them and start over? So it's been a coin toss of a year just to figure out, what do you do?
I know. I've started calling slugs vampires because, used to we'd say, well, they got to have something to hide under. They don't like sunlight. But used to we said once it got warm, they weren't going to be a problem. The last couple of years, they're around till August.
Yeah, false news. Yeah.
And they are eating rapidly.
Wheat beans right now, Callaway County and Henry County just eating their lunch.
I know. So that's something else we've got to just continue to figure out and help give people solutions.
Yes, and we needed a solution in this scenario because we knew it was work ground and we had some flush coming back in. There was a really early burn down, but hey, I mean, these are on 30-inch rows, so I mean, it has every opportunity for stuff to be breaking through right now, and we've held really well for the last 30 days. And now we have the opportunity, like you said, with windows. We're scheduled for a rain in the next day or two, good Lord willing, and I'm glad it will. But if that inhibited us and we were trying to do a rescue mission right now, that wouldn't be possible. But thankful for, Authority Edge being in there, that gives us an opportunity to maybe spend some time with our family on the 4th of July and come back in and clean these things up. Pretty simple in the next week. So,
and the last thing any of us want to do is make that rescue application because you can reduce your yield, and sometimes you don't even know you're reducing your yield when you go out there. Say you're making your fungicide pass and you've got some escape water hemp plants and you're like, oh, I've got to get these things killed. You don't even realize till the combine goes through that you've lost some yield, and you might not ever realize it. That field made 60 bushel, and that's what it made, but the potential could have been greater had we kept the weeds from ever coming up.
Right. Yeah. We always talk about it. It's kind of like, hey, you want to spend it up front or you want to spend it twice times, later on in the crop. So it's a whole lot easier to start clean.
It is for sure.
So again, we talk about some of these chemicals and what they bring to the table and all this stuff. We want to try to lean on Camille here on reasons why it does, and it's true facts out of something you had to study you personally out of the herbicide handbook of the half-life of the active ingredients and all these chemicals, and sometimes it comes with a price tag, but we know that we can bring value in what we're seeing out in the field, and that was something that we thought we'd like to share with you because we were very excited to come back and almost take a deep breath when we seen this field saying, man, this has really held on in 30-inch row beans and worked bare ground. I honestly would like to think that there was going to be stuff out there bigger than it was. And again, we just wanted to show you what we're seeing, what we're excited about, and always a good time to talk with Jordan and Camille. And again, stay tuned for any other conversations that we have, and glad that you're here to join with us.